Good afternoon. Today we're going to do Leadslingers Bourbon. Leadslingers was graciously provided to me by TC. He offered to buy me a bottle, and I said yes. I wouldn't mind it at all. You know, it's very nice of him. I appreciated it a whole lot. So he wanted me to, and I said, since you're buying the bottle, you pick. You know. And he said, well, Scissortail whiskey. Well, Scissortail from this comes from Scissortail whiskey, and Leadslingers comes from the same distillery, Scissortail Distillery. I couldn't find Scissortail, and I looked high and low. There's not available in Kansas at all. And I looked at, and I was actually in Enid, and I called Ponca City, and I also called Bartlesville, a few of the stores in each one of those. Both, even the stores I called said, you're probably not going to find it, and I was unable to. So we settled on Leadslingers. This was about $30 in my area. Well, when I work out of town frequently, and when I got back, I had a package waiting for me. Well, actually, my wife called me, said it came in. She took a picture and sent it to me, and so when I got back, I had a barrel, aging barrel he sent to me. And TC sent this as well. I think it's a 1 liter. It looks about 1 liter in size. It's got instructions and everything that goes with it. It's got the R, Whiskey Scout on the front, established 2018. And I guess I got to quit doing that. Let's let you guys take a look at it there if I can get it orientated right for you guys. And he got this for me, and very nice. This is a great gift, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm at a loss of words. I'm so thankful. I appreciate it a lot. I'm going to do some research, and when I get what I can get figured out about it, maybe take you all along the journey with me, and we'll try to age some sort of whiskey, see what we can do. Maybe come up with a concoction or two. Who knows? It's interesting. I look forward to that. Anyway, back to Leadslingers. It's 40% alcohol by volume. It is a bourbon whiskey. It's not a straight bourbon whiskey, so generally that means it's aged less than 2 years. And it's neat if you look on the inside of this back label, and you won't be able to see it probably at an angle there, maybe. If you look through the glass, it's an American flag on the inside of that. This is really a neat little whiskey. I want to read the back because I think it's important. Veteran-owned Leadslingers Whiskey. Leadslingers Whiskey was founded in 2013 by 7 combat veterans when U.S. Air Force TACPS, and I do not exactly know what all that acronym means, U.S. Army Rangers, Green Berets, and paratroopers combined their love for American fine whiskey. Leadslingers Whiskey was born. Tired of people afraid to support the Second Amendment, the Leadslinger Whiskey team was focused on bringing a quality bourbon whiskey to freedom-loving, like-minded individuals. Stay Frosty, Freedom On, product of the USA. And distilled at tongue-tied. Distilled by Scissortail Distillery, product of Moore, Oklahoma. Moore, Oklahoma. That's red dirt country there around Oklahoma City and south. I've been through Moore. I've never stopped at Scissortail. Next time I go through Moore, I'm going to have to make an effort to see if I can make time to stop, and hopefully they have a visitor center or something of the like. I'll have to get online and see what I can find out. It's neat. I really like it. You know, it's pretty dang neat. All these guys is, I'm sure, was in way after I've been out since 1987, so it's been a long time for me. I knew what some of those guys did as far as acronyms go. A lot of things have changed. We never worked with the Air Force Forward Control or whatever they might call that now. So that's why I'm not aware of that acronym. I'm an old Cav Scout. And I was in, and this is to kind of give you guys an idea of when I was in. We were not issued 9mm. We were issued 45s. When I got out, I got a 45 because that's what I was familiar with. We were transitioning to the 9mm about the time I got out in the unit I was in, and only the officers got them. So, this is mine. My second one, the first one I wore out after about 20 years. It was a Springfield. It was a good weapon. I went, traded in, bought this Sig Sauer. Sig Sauer is equally a good weapon. We're going to run it out of the bottom out of this. That way avoids ejecting and hitting the floor or hitting anything else. And the weapon is safe. And as was in the song by Leonard Skinner, if you like to drink your whiskey, you might even shoot yourself. So we'll take all that out. Weapon is clear. Anyway, that was mine. This was not my actual weapon, but that was what I was trained on. And of course, I had an M16. I digress. This is not a weapons or my past video. But I am a proud veteran. I do support the Second Amendment, and I do support what these guys are doing. That is not going to impact what I'm going to tell you about the whiskey. So you need to understand that up front. The whiskey, what they're doing, I love and I support the whiskey they make. We'll get into that and we'll go from there. But I just want that to be really clear about this. It's a medium amber, almost a honey color. A little bit of a medium to dark honey color. Legs, it's a young whiskey, so the legs do run a little thin, and we kind of expect that out of a young whiskey. You know what you get with a young whiskey, and that's the important thing. So you temper what you think you're going to get with what you're really going to get. I get the vanilla. I get oak, of course. I get more nutmeg on this one. I don't get the cinnamon note as much. Or at all, really. I get mostly nutmeg. Caramel. There's a caramel sweetness in there you can get in your nose as well. And there's a little bit of a spirit drive you even pick up in your nose. And I mean, that's bringing you all the mostly standard bourbon flavors that you're going to get a lot of times in most bourbons. But I do kind of pick up maybe just a trace bit of a honey note in this one. I get just a little faint honey note in it for the palate. We have the spirit drive. The vanilla, the caramel, the oak. In the flavor, a little bit of the corn, and think of a sweet corn, a peppery sweet corn. Like when you cook corn on the stove and you put a little butter in it, you take the sweet corn out of the can, you put it on the stove, put a little bit of butter in it, a little bit of salt, and some black pepper. That black pepper counterbalancing with the butter and the corn, I get that flavor in this. And now I get it in the nose. It's almost like the palate prepared the nose in this case, believe it or not. Because now, because I just noticed it, I even get that smell in the nose. And that's not, you're talking about mostly corn whiskey anyway, so this is an expected flavor experience. That's what we expect to smell. And you get a little bit of the wood still too, and it smells to me like they're using good wood. A lot of the odors I get off of this, and a lot of the palate I get, kind of puts in my mind, in my what I associate with other bourbons and stuff, I'm somewhere caught almost between a Four Roses Yellow and a Jim Beam White. Now, both of those give you high intense moments as it passes through the palate, whereas this one is more metered. It doesn't give you those high intense moments. It's more, and I'm going to use the poo-poo word, smooth, but it's got a more smooth transition through the palate than either one of those has. But somewhere caught in the middle, you can get a few hints of each in there, and it kind of, that's where I associate within this one here. Overall, it's a very good, well-made young bourbon. I mean, there's a little bit of the spirit drive comes through, but it's not heavily dominated by it in the palate. Nothing wrong with it. It's a good drinking whiskey. It's $30. And I know you can get similar whiskeys cheaper and more expensive, and you can get the craft bottlings like this that are much more expensive than this. That frankly, frankly don't do as much for you. This one I really truly like. I would actually like to see it bottled at 45%. I believe that would actually make this. I know it's going to bring the price up, but I think the flavor profile would be a little bit more intense, and it would be a little bit more enjoyable. I know you're probably going to get just a little bit more heat off of it as well, but you expect heat with young bourbons. You know, we get in this dichotomy where we expect, oh, I don't want to taste the alcohol, I just want to taste the richness of the wood and the bourbon. But you can't get both. You can't get both without age. And people seem to be unwilling to accept the heat of the youth of the bourbon and want everything in the age. Well, they work together. And yeah, the heat of the bourbon, it is, some people have problems with it. And power to you if you do, and I understand, and I'm not throwing stones here. But don't anticipate something that's not there. And just because it's not there, don't poo-poo on it, for lack of a better word. You know, this and other young bourbons are what they are. What this means to me is, this means they are, since 2013, they are bottling good new make. They're using good wood. If they're putting some cask back, what can we see in 6, 8, 10 years? If they're keeping the cask back, when they start producing something, and I hope they are, in 6, 8, or 10 years down the road, I think we can really see some quality bourbon come out of these guys. I really do. I think it's there. Score, I'm off my soapbox. Score's long enough. We need to score it. I'm going to give it an 84 out of 100. It's a very drinkable bourbon. No problems with it. It's got good flavor profile, good flavor taste. Finish. I didn't talk about the finish. Short to medium length in the finish. A medium length finish. Now you get that a lot out of me. I know a lot of stuff I say. This is a short to medium length finish. Hedging a little more toward medium, but not quite there. The corn brings up the back end of it. That's pretty cool. I get the corn on the back of the tongue. That peppery corn. Good bourbon. Nothing wrong with it. $30. I think it's $30 well spent. I'll sign off with that. Everybody, don't forget. Uh-oh, I messed up. Everybody remember, the spirit in your glass is not running from you. Take your time, sip it, and enjoy it. You'll be better for it. Everyone, have a good day. All right. I got a faux pas there at the very end. I like to choke on that one.